So, you've booked your flight to Italy. You're dreaming of pasta in Rome, sunsets in Venice, maybe a gondola ride or two. But before you pack those cute walking shoes, listen up. Because these 10 common mistakes could ruin your dream trip. In this video, I'm breaking down the biggest regrets tourists have after visiting Italy, things they wish they knew before getting on the plane. We'll talk about money traps, food blunders, timing mistakes, and cultural no-nos that no guidebook really warns you about. One of these mistakes might actually get you kicked out of a restaurant. And no, it's not about tipping. Let's jump in. Mistake number 1. Over-planning and overpacking the itinerary. Italy looks small on a map, but it's not a theme park. Trying to see Rome, Florence, Venice, Milan, Amalfi Coast, and Sicily in 10 days? You'll be exhausted, broke, and burned out. Many travelers try to see everything by cramming iconic destinations Rome, Florence, Venice, Amalfi Coast, Tuscany, and more into a single trip. The country is overflowing with beauty, but rushing through too many places turns the journey into a marathon rather than a memorable experience. Packing the schedule with too many stops and sites means you spend much of your trip in transit, packing and unpacking, checking in and out, figuring out transportation, and navigating logistics. This leads to exhaustion and frustration, with little opportunity to savor the local culture or relax. Italy is best experienced at a slower pace, lingering over espresso in a piazza, wandering cobblestone streets, or enjoying a leisurely dinner. Over-planning sacrifices the chance to soak in the country's authentic, joyful way of life. Rapid city hopping results in shallow encounters. You might snap a photo at the Trevi Fountain or zip through a museum, but you lose the depth and magic of each destination. Travelers often leave wishing they'd stayed longer in one place to discover the real Italy. Constantly managing busy logistics, multiple accommodations, and rigid schedules leads to anxiety if anything goes wrong. Missed trains, delayed connections, or closed attractions. Overpacking steals spontaneity and flexibility. Loading the schedule to the minute prevents you from following local tips, changing plans for pleasant surprises, or simply relaxing when needed. Choose 2 to 3 main locations and spend quality time in each. This allows deeper exploration and a more relaxed, enjoyable trip. Include downtime for rest, wandering, or spontaneous adventures. You'll find greater satisfaction and may even discover hidden gems. Savoring each place, rather than rushing, provides richer memories and a genuine taste of Italian culture. Overplanning and overpacking your Italy itinerary lead to exhaustion, superficial experiences, and missed opportunities for authentic enjoyment. The best regret-free trips are those that leave room for the unexpected, the slow, and the sweet do-nothing pleasures that make Italy unforgettable. Travelers often regret overpacking their trips because the accumulated stress prevents genuine enjoyment of Italy's relaxed, vibrant lifestyle, which is often one of the highlights of visiting the country. A lighter, more spacious itinerary usually results in a much more memorable and pleasant experience. A flexible itinerary lets you embrace la dolce vita, Italy's joyful, unhurried way of life, and unlocks a journey that is richer, more personal, and truly unforgettable. What to do instead? Pick 2 to 3 regions and explore them deeply, not just quickly. Mistake number 2. Assuming everyone speaks English. In tourist areas, sure. But if you're in small towns or even train stations, don't expect perfect English. Learn basic Italian greetings. Locals really appreciate it. Even buongiorno goes a long way. Assuming everyone speaks English in Italy negatively affects the cultural experience by creating surface-level interactions and missing genuine cultural engagement. When tourists rely solely on English, they often miss opportunities to connect meaningfully with locals, who generally appreciate when visitors make an effort to speak even a few Italian phrases. This effort signals respect and openness that enriches personal interactions and the overall travel experience. Many Italians, especially outside major tourist hubs, may not speak English fluently, but are usually welcoming and willing to engage when tourists try Italian. Using English only can lead to misunderstandings and a transactional experience rather than a cultural exchange. It also sometimes fosters a stereotype that Italians are less linguistically capable, which is not true and can be offensive to locals who take pride in their language and culture. Furthermore, the assumption of universal English proficiency can create frustration for tourists and hinder integration into local life, as many Italians tolerate English for convenience, but prefer to share their language and culture. Tourists who attempt Italian often find more patience, kindness, and richer interactions, even in areas where English is less common. Thus, not trying Italian deprives travelers of deeper cultural understanding and authentic connections, reducing their visit to a more superficial experience. In essence, assuming everyone speaks English in Italy can turn a visit into a purely transactional encounter, whereas making an effort with the Italian language opens the door to warmth, respect, and a richer cultural experience. Mistake number 3. Ordering cappuccino after 11 a.m. Ordering a cappuccino after 11 a.m. in Italy is considered a mistake mainly because cappuccino is traditionally viewed as a morning drink meant to accompany breakfast, usually with a sweet pastry. Italians believe that drinking milk-based coffee like cappuccino later in the day, especially after meals, is heavy and can interfere with digestion. After 11 a.m., it is more customary to switch to stronger, milk-free coffees such as espresso or macchiato, which Italians typically consume throughout the rest of the day. This cultural norm exists because cappuccino contains a significant amount of milk, making it more filling, almost like a mini-meal, and milk after a heavy meal is thought to disrupt metabolism and digestion. While not an actual law, ordering cappuccino post 11 a.m. often marks a person as a tourist in the eyes of locals and may elicit surprised or amused reactions from baristas or waiters in traditional Italian coffee bars. However, these customs can vary by region, and some Italians, especially younger people, may drink cappuccino later in the day. Cappuccino equals breakfast drink, traditionally consumed before 11 a.m. with a pastry. After 11 a.m. equals switch to espresso or macchiato, which are lighter and easier to digest after meals. Ordering cappuccino afternoon or later signals unfamiliarity with Italian coffee culture. This tradition is deeply ingrained in Italian coffee etiquette and linked to the belief that milk is generally for mornings, not post-meal consumption. In Italy, cappuccino is a breakfast drink. Order one after lunch and you'll instantly be marked as a tourist. Stick with espresso or macchiato in the afternoon. It's what locals do. The historical origins that influenced Italians' morning-only coffee customs are deeply tied to the early development of coffee culture in Italy and broader European dietary traditions. Coffee first arrived in Italy in the 16th century through Venetian traders who brought it from the Ottoman Empire, where coffee houses were social hubs. Initially, coffee was a luxury item for the wealthy and faced suspicion from some religious circles, but with legendary support from Pope Clement VIII around 1600, who reportedly blessed coffee after trying it, coffee quickly became a popular and culturally significant drink. By the 17th century, coffee houses in Venice had become centers for intellectual and social life, setting the stage for Italy's vibrant coffee culture. The espresso machine's invention in Turin in 1884 revolutionized coffee preparation, enabling quick extraction and the creation of creamy espresso. This innovation supported the evolution of various coffee drinks, including cappuccino, which combined espresso with milk and foam. Cappuccino emerged as a morning beverage, considered nourishing and suitable as a light meal replacement to accompany breakfast, reflecting early 20th century working class needs for a quick, filling start to the day. The morning-only cappuccino custom stems from traditional Italian dietary beliefs about milk consumption and digestion. Italians view milk and milk-based drinks as more appropriate in the morning and often believe consuming milk-based coffee, like cappuccino after 11 a.m. or after meals, to be too heavy and disruptive to digestion and metabolism. Instead, stronger, milk-free coffee styles like espresso or macchiato are preferred later in the day, intended more as a digestive aid and social ritual. This separation aligns with Italy's long-standing cultural norms about meal timing, digestion, and balance. 16th century arrival of coffee into Italy through Venice, becoming central to social and intellectual life. Pope Clement VIII's acceptance helped shift coffee from suspicious drink to cultural staple. 19th century espresso machine invention facilitated rapid coffee preparation and popularized milk-based morning drinks. Strong cultural belief in milk being suitable mostly for morning consumption, linking cappuccino to breakfast. Later-day coffee consumption focused on lighter, milk-free varieties for digestion and social rituals. These historical and cultural developments combine to establish the morning-only cappuccino rule as part of Italian coffee etiquette. Mistake number 4. Not booking major attractions in advance. Want to see the Vatican museums or the Uffizi Gallery? Don't show up the same day. Tickets sell out fast. Book online in advance, weeks ahead if possible. Not booking major attractions in advance is a significant tourist mistake in Italy. This practice can lead to long wait times, potentially missing out on entry altogether, and paying higher prices to unofficial vendors offering last-minute tours near the entrances. Many top attractions, such as the Vatican museums, the Colosseum in Rome, the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, and the Last Supper in Milan, require or strongly recommend booking tickets weeks or even months ahead, especially in peak seasons. Booking in advance often guarantees entry and allows tourists to skip long queues, saving valuable vacation time and avoiding frustration. Popular sites can have lines stretching for hours, and some limit daily visitor numbers, making last-minute visits risky. Guided tours and skip-the-line tickets can also enhance the experience by providing faster access and informative insights. Many top attractions have daily visitor limits and can sell out well in advance, especially during peak travel seasons. Pre-booking guarantees you'll get to visit the landmarks you most want to see without the risk of missing out. Many venues offer guided tours, skip-the-line options, or after-hours access, often only available to those who book ahead. These experiences can add extra depth and enjoyment to your visit. Pre-booked tickets are purchased at official prices, reducing the risk of paying more to third-party vendors or street resellers who capitalize on tourists needing last-minute entry. Taken together, pre-booking is a simple step that helps ensure your trip to Italy's most famous attractions is as smooth, enjoyable, and memorable as possible. Mistake number 5. Dining too early or in the wrong places. Many tourists hit restaurants at 5 p.m., but locals dine around 8. Also, if the menu has 15 languages or someone is calling you in from the street, it's probably a tourist trap. Look for places with locals, handwritten menus, and no flashy signs. Dining too early or eating in the wrong places are common travel mistakes tourists make in Italy, often leading to disappointment and regret. Italians typically eat dinner much later than many tourists expect. Dinner generally starts around 7:30 to 8 p.m. or even later, especially in big cities like Rome where dining after 9 p.m. is common. Restaurants usually don't open for dinner service before 7 p.m., and those that do are likely catering to tourists and may not serve authentic food. Eating too early can result in poor quality meals or limited options, since kitchens may not be fully open or staffed at those times. Besides timing, the location matters greatly. Tourists often make the mistake of eating at the first restaurant they see near major tourist attractions. These places tend to have overpriced, unremarkable food designed for tourists rather than authentic, regional cuisine. Instead, it's better to seek out local favorites or places with menus featuring regional specialties and a strong local clientele. Authentic Italian dining is also about savoring the meal as a ritual, taking time to enjoy the food slowly without rushing, which contrasts with the often hurried tourist dining experience. Key points to avoid dining mistakes in Italy. Plan dinner at 7:30 p.m. or later to experience genuine local dining. Skip places right next to major sites. Look for venues busy with locals. Don't rush meals. Enjoy prolonged sitting, conversations, and savoring each course. Opt for local specialties and regional wines rather than safe or universally known options. Use local customs. For example, Italians often have aperitivo, pre-dinner drinks with snacks, around 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. instead of an early meal. By aligning with Italian dining customs and choosing your dining venues carefully, you can avoid the common tourist regret of eating too early or in the wrong places. If you want, I can provide more detailed restaurant recommendations or typical regional dishes to help plan your meals in Italy. Mistake number 6. Assuming trains are always on time. Italy's high-speed trains are great, but regional ones can be late, crowded, or randomly canceled. Always add buffer time between connections and check apps like Trenitalia or Italo for real-time updates. Tourists often assume Italian trains are always punctual largely due to enduring myths and stereotypes, especially the famous saying attributed to Mussolini that he made the trains run on time, which historically was more propaganda than reality. This propaganda created a perception of Italian trains as symbolically efficient despite actual inconsistencies. Additionally, tourists may generalize from the relatively reliable high-speed trains like Frecciarossa or Italo, which tend to run closer to schedule, and underestimate delays common in regional and local trains. The romantic image of Italy and its rail system further reinforces expectations of smooth travel, which does not always match reality. Practical factors also play a role. Italian train boards often do not display train platform information until shortly before departure, adding to confusion and an impression that trains operate on a strict schedule. Tourists unfamiliar with these quirks may mistakenly assume punctuality is the norm, not the exception. Tourists' assumptions stem from historical myths, selective experiences with faster train services, and lack of familiarity with operational practices of the Italian rail system, all leading them to expect trains to be reliably on time despite frequent regional delays and occasional cancellations. To avoid travel regrets related to train timing in Italy, you can implement these key strategies. Book tickets well in advance, especially for popular and high-speed routes, to secure seats and avoid last-minute cancellations or sold-out trains. Validate your paper tickets at validation machines before boarding regional trains to avoid fines. Always check and match the train number, not just the destination, when boarding because multiple trains may go to the same place or differ by speed or service type. Arrive early at stations, at least 10 to 20 minutes before departure, longer at larger stations, to navigate platforms, find your train, and handle ticket purchases or validations if needed. Plan buffer time between connections or activities so delays won't cause missed trains or stress. Avoid tight layovers, especially in large stations with long platform walks. Use real-time apps and websites like Trenitalia or Italo to monitor train schedules, platforms, and delays during your journey. When possible, choose high-speed trains, Frecciarossa, Italo, for more reliable timing, but anticipate that regional trains can have delays or cancellations more frequently. If a train is missed or delayed significantly, ask staff promptly for alternatives or consider other transport modes like buses or taxis. Travel light with manageable luggage to move easily and avoid stress during platform changes or boarding or disembarking. Avoid booking overambitious day trips dependent on tight train schedules. Opt for overnight stays to reduce time pressure. These measures help you plan realistically, stay informed, and respond calmly to Italy's train system quirks, minimizing stress and travel mishaps related to train timing. Mistake number 7. Ignoring dress codes for churches. Want to enter St. Peter's Basilica or the Duomo in Florence? Sleeveless tops and short shorts might get you turned away. Bring a scarf or light cover-up, especially in summer. Ignoring dress codes when visiting churches in Italy is indeed a common tourist mistake and can lead to being denied entry. Italian churches, especially major and well-known ones like St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican City or the Milan Duomo, enforce modest dress codes strictly. Visitors are expected to cover their shoulders and knees. This means no tank tops, sleeveless tops, shorts above the knee, mini skirts, or dresses that expose shoulders, midriffs, or knees. Hats must be removed, and sunglasses are often not allowed inside. Some churches provide shawls or wraps to cover up if needed, but many will refuse entrance if you do not comply with the dress code. This dress code applies to all genders and ages and reflects the respect for the sacredness of these religious sites and Italian cultural traditions. In smaller, less touristy churches, enforcement might be laxer, but complying with the dress code is always recommended to avoid embarrassment and to show reverence. Additionally, ignoring these rules not only risks denial of entry, but also disrespects local customs and the solemnity of these historic sites, diminishing the visitor's experience. Dressing modestly and carrying a scarf or shawl for emergencies is advised when touring churches in Italy. In summary, tourists should always adhere to the modesty dress codes for Italian churches to prevent any issues during their visits and to respect local religious practices. Mistake number 8. Not carrying cash. Italy is modern, yes, but many places, especially rural ones, are still cash preferred. Bring euros and always ask if cards are accepted before ordering. Many small purchases, especially under 10 euros, example, coffee, gelato, small items, often require cash because card payments are not always accepted for such low amounts. Credit cards are less widely accepted in smaller shops or for small transactions, so having cash is more convenient and sometimes necessary. Some services, like extra excursions on tours or taxis, especially local ones, may prefer or insist on cash payments. Occasionally, small fees like tourist tax at hotels may be requested in cash. In many larger cities and tourist areas, card payments, including contactless and mobile payments, are widely accepted. For transactions above a few euros, cards are often the preferred way and help reduce risks like theft or scams. Visa and MasterCard are almost universally accepted, while American Express might be less so. Using cards can protect against scams and theft since losing a card or having transactions blocked is safer than losing a large amount of cash. Carry some cash, perhaps around 100 to 200 euros, for small purchases, emergencies, or places that don't accept cards. Use cards for most other payments, especially in restaurants, stores, and bigger expenses. Prefer secure methods like ATMs at reputable locations to withdraw cash, rather than currency exchange booths with poor rates. Use a money belt or secure bag to carry cash safely and reduce the risk of pickpocketing. Confirm with taxi drivers before the ride if card payment is accepted. Alternatively, use services like Uber where card payments are guaranteed. In summary, not carrying any cash on your trip to Italy can cause inconveniences and limit your ability to pay for small items or certain services. It is advised to carry a modest amount of cash while primarily relying on cards for safer and more convenient payments. Mistake number 9. Expecting a fast food culture. Italy is slow food culture. Meals are meant to be enjoyed, not rushed. Don't expect quick service, especially if you're dining outside. Embrace the pace. Expecting a fast food culture similar to that of the United States is indeed a tourist mistake in Italy. Italy's food culture is centered on fresh, local, and carefully prepared meals that are enjoyed as a social and culinary ritual rather than speed and convenience. While fast food chains like McDonald's and Burger King exist, they are far less common and culturally significant than in the US, and the traditional Italian approach to food emphasizes quality, seasonality, and dining as an experience, often taking much longer than fast food service. Italian fast food differs significantly from American fast food. For example, Italy has unique quick food options like piadina, a type of flatbread sandwich, and the autogrill chain, which is a highway food stop emphasizing espresso, porchetta sandwiches, and regional snacks rather than typical American fast food fare like cheeseburgers and fries. Italian dining often involves waiting calmly for carefully prepared dishes, and restaurants may even advise people in a hurry to return when they can relax and enjoy the meal. Tourists who seek quick, familiar fast food meals may find themselves frustrated with the slower pace and different dining customs in Italy. Moreover, many tourist-targeted restaurants, often marked by English menus or sandwich boards advertising fixed menus, tend to prioritize quantity over quality and may offer subpar food compared to what locals enjoy in authentic, off-the-beaten-path eateries. Italy's food culture values slow, fresh, and regional cooking over fast food convenience. Fast food chains exist, but are culturally and numerically limited compared to the US. Italian fast food often includes traditional snacks and motorway stops like auto grill rather than drive-through burger joints. Tourists expecting quick meals similar to American fast food may misunderstand Italian dining norms and miss the true culinary experience. Thus, expecting a fast food culture equivalent to the US when visiting Italy is a cultural misunderstanding and may lead to disappointment or tourist dining mistakes. Mistake number 10. Not validating train tickets. This is the one that gets tourists fined the most. For regional trains, you need to stamp your paper ticket in the little green or yellow box before boarding. Skipping this? You could get fined €50 plus on the spot. Tickets for high-speed trains, like Frecciarrossa or Italo, that come with assigned seats and a QR code generally do not require validation before boarding. Regional and many other tickets must be validated by feeding the paper ticket into a validation machine at the station platform before boarding. These machines are typically yellow or green and marked with the phrase "Convalida il tuo biglietto," validate your ticket. If you purchase an e-ticket on the Trenitalia app, you can validate electronically by checking in on the app before boarding. If you forget to validate your ticket and are caught on board, explain the situation to the conductor immediately. They may still fine you, but being proactive is better than reactive. There are no exceptions for tourists or visitors. The system is strictly enforced, and your ignorance of the rule is not an excuse. Therefore, validating your train ticket in Italy, unless it is a reserved seat high-speed ticket, is essential to avoid fines. Being aware of this rule and the validation process at the station will help avoid this common tourist pitfall. Remember that restaurant issue? Ordering a cappuccino with dinner, demanding substitutions, or rushing the waiter can get you a cold shoulder or even asked to leave. Italians take their dining seriously. Want to know how to actually blend in like a local, travel cheaper, and eat better for less? That's all in the next video. Italy travel hacks. Save money and time. Drop a comment. Which of these mistakes surprised you the most? Hit like if you learned something new and subscribe so you don't miss the next Italy travel guide. Travel smart, eat slow, and enjoy la dolce vita.